I'm ready.
You sure you're ready?
I'm ready.
Because once I hit this, there's no going back.
This is Mark and Charity Mornings.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for the American Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 25th today. Or as we in Canada call it, Thursday.
Just Thursday.
Just Thursday. Belleville, Ontario, Canada. It's Mark Philbin, Charity Brown. 95.5 Hits FM morning show. The next 15 minutes. Podcast about 15 minutes long. Talk about things we had on the morning show with a little bit more time. And possibly tease what we're going to do tomorrow, because we're going to do a little bit of that today as well. But first off, for the holiday season, we talked about holiday movies on Netflix. Good, bad, indifferent.
Yes.
Not just like the best, because we're going
Just
to
a
get
list
to
of
that.
movies you may want to enjoy this holiday season.
Because when you hit the play anything button, you literally will get anything. That's a whole level of desperation I don't need. So I at least like to have a little bit of plan when I flip around. So when I saw this list, I thought, boy, and I like Christmas music or movies rather as much as anybody. You know, I don't dislike them, but sure. There's just a lot I haven't seen.
Oh,
There are
I don't think you're
more.
alone. It's you kind of gravitate to what you know, right? What you like. And you do have the favorites that you have on repeat. And we'll talk about why we do that in a few moments. But this list kind of gives you something to spice it up with. And there are some really good ones on there by the sounds of it.
And I always thought Hallmark was the only channel that's doing new holiday.
No.
And they are, by the way. Talk about the 5 things that are in every Hallmark. I mean, it's bakeries. Right.
Someone always returns to their hometown
Right.
disgruntled and jaded to only be welcomed with open arms, and their heart slowly melts throughout the ordeal because of one individual.
Right.
And then they realize what they're missing and they want to stay and they fall in love and everything's happy.
Young single woman has no Christmas spirit. What else? Hunky guy just...
Well, I was going to say there's a single
Bought a-
male too. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's the single male that returns
that
home
it?
and
Okay.
falls in love with
Yep.
the woman who has the bakery or runs the local, I don't know, dog park, something.
Town busybody.
The town busybody also
Got to be in
a
it.
regular character in everyone. Last year we put up a video, and I'll have to find it.
It was so
but
funny.
It was a woman who, as you just said, kind of took every cliche from those Hallmark movies and put it to the test. And where did she go? She went to Vermont, I think.
Vermont or New Hampshire, something like
Yeah,
that.
and then it's just her standing there going, okay, I don't have the Christmas spirit. Where is everybody? And it shows her in a gazebo without a book. It shows her on a Christmas tree farm. She finally says, maybe I was supposed to sign in somewhere
Yeah.
when I entered the state, let them know.
Where's the town mayor to encourage me
Yeah.
to take part in the community?
Walking around with a hot beverage, waiting to run into someone, and it never happens.
Never
So
happens.
We tease, but there is something too. There's a formula because it does work. There's something.
And people watch them.
Yeah.
So we're going to
So
talk
what
about
is it about holiday movies?
Yeah, what you like. Come up, think about that. But here are some of the ones on Netflix. Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey from last year. New one for this year, A Castle for Christmas with Brooke Shields.
And that, I've seen the previews for that. That is a very Hallmark-esque type movie.
Yeah.
I believe it has, what is his name? Stuart Townsend in it as well. He used to be with Charlize Theron. Anyway, it takes place in Ireland, and it looks beautiful. It looks romantic, and it looks
Okay.
very Christmassy.
A Castle for Christmas. Klaus, the
Yes, we've seen
animated
it. Yep.
movie of
Very good.
2019. He is Santa Claus. Spoiler alert. And then the guy that delivers them. The holiday calendar of 2018. Last year's Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square 2020. We had fun with this one this morning.
We did, because I thought maybe it was a Christmas, much like a Christmas concert type special, but no, it is an actual
it's a
movie.
movie.
There's a storyline.
So Christine Baranski plays characters that Christine Baranski always plays.
Okay.
You've seen her on television. She is the foil in the original Grinch with Jim Carrey.
Yes.
She's the Sirenist next door neighbor. She's Christine Baranski. She returns to her hometown after her father's death to evict its residents and sell the land to a mall developer on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
All kinds of cliches. I don't know how you're going to melt her cold, cold heart, but it has something to do with meeting the local townsfolk, reconnecting with an old flame, and then being visited by an angel played by Dolly
Of course.
Parton.
Of course.
14
And what an
new
angel
tunes.
she'd be.
Oh, Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square.
Okay. I'm going to
Watch
have to
it.
try that one. Yes. I'm gonna have
Text
to watch
us
that
the
one.
number of stars out of 5.
I'll watch it today.
How much you enjoyed that. Love Hard 2021. I think that's the one I saw, and it's a very 2021 movie. The guy is
that the
kind of,
catfishing one?
yeah, he's
Yes.
using somebody else's pictures.
Yes. Nina Dobrev, I believe she's
Yeah.
a Canadian actress.
Okay.
She's in it too.
So she
yes.
goes to date the guy, clearly not the guy portrayed
No,
in
not
the site.
the guy she's
But he
expecting.
said, I know him, and I'm not good looking, and I didn't think you'd go out with me if you thought I looked like I look like. So she agrees to keep going out with him in order to meet that other guy. Mm-hmm. But then, right?
Yes, that looks like a cute one
Love
too.
Hard. Christmas Chronicles Part 1 and 2. They're
Love
on
these
there.
movies.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn are great in those movies.
Just Another Christmas from last year was set in Brazil. It follows a cranky family man, Jorge, who suffers a serious fall on Christmas Eve and wakes up exactly 1 year later with no memory of what happened over the previous 364 days.
Which sounds very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very interesting concept.
So if you hit your head and fell asleep on Christmas Eve and then you woke up, it's still Christmas Eve.
What's happened in that year?
Well, no, first of all, you'd have to convince me a year occurred.
Of course.
Like, it's still Christmas Eve.
but
no,
then once
it
that's sunk
didn't.
in, that's what's intriguing. What has
Yeah.
happened in that year?
And then, so anyway, yeah, Just Another Christmas. Holiday, see Love Hard. Holiday 2020. Operation Christmas dropped from 2020, a very Murray Christmas, a Bill Murray
Like to see that
movie
too.
from 2015. That's about
Really?
the oldest one on there.
Okay.
And The Princess switched again from 2020. So those are some of the big, if
On
you're just
Netflix.
looking, for
something fun.
for some titles. And then we wrapped up our show talking about a little bit what sounds like a cliche, but I think I want to move beyond cliche to say what has to occur in a Christmas movie for one of the scenarios to be true. One, it's your favorite movie. So what is it about a holiday movie that made it your favorite movie? Or would intrigue you to watch it in the first place? For those of us who won't watch every Christmas movie just because it's a Christmas movie, what would have to be in it? And so anyway, what would it take? Like, I don't need music. Some people might say, oh, it's got to have music in it in order for me to watch a
Yeah.
Christmas movie. I think, if anything, it's got to have a miracle at the end. I like miracles at the end. The thing that there's no way that couldn't possibly happen.
I think yes. I think
Miraculous.
that's kind of the cherry on the top.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what, because I got thinking about it when you asked that. I thought of the movies I like, my
Yeah.
favorites,
Yeah.
and what about them I like.
Like, what do they have in common?
It's that feel good feeling.
Okay.
At the end of it, you feel good. You
Mm-hmm.
feel satisfied. You feel like you've experienced this movie, and it's a warm, fuzzy feeling at the end of it. Home Alone, White Christmas, Die Hard. That one's a joke.
Well,
But
we're going to come back to
we're
that.
going to come back to that.
Because we got texts on that.
But I do believe that yes, it has overcome something or a happy ending, a miracle. Certainly,
Yeah.
if that's what if it takes a miracle, but a happy ending.
I think miraculous reconciliation is probably what I'm thinking.
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Yes.
Elderly neighbor, his son,
But it's the
grandson.
it's again it goes back to the miracle, maybe more so, like it's the magic of the holidays.
Right.
I think if you can encompass that, if that somehow comes through, that makes it a good movie. Whether it be a miraculous what did you say?
reconciliation.
Reconciliation,
Right.
or a miracle of some sort, like a miracle on 34th Street.
34th Street, anything like that?
Yeah, just something that brings together the magic of the holidays, the feeling, the meaning of it.
And for me
And maybe
too.
that's too broad. Maybe that's too general.
No, but and the other ones for me too are their comedies. My favorite ones are comedies from Elf, and there's James Caan at the end getting reconciled with his son. Like finally they're going to be
Again,
tight.
and again, it's the magic of the season,
Yeah.
what it can do, what it can
Yep.
bring out in you. You become the kid again. You become a believer. You become
Grinch, right?
it's
Yep.
the Grinch. It's even Scrooge with
Scrooge,
Bill
for
Murray.
sure.
At the
Yeah.
end of it, he's standing there singing with everybody, and the holiday spirit has filled him.
Yep.
And it's that feeling of hope and happiness.
There's a Christmas movie that is one of my favorites that nobody watches. And now that I say that, maybe we'll get
Is it like a Dr. Phibes type?
Yeah,
No? Okay.
Yeah, in a
Okay.
way. 613-962-0955, and it's called An American Christmas Carol with Henry Winkler.
Okay.
Takes place in, pick an old year, 1880,
Mm-hmm.
1875. It's very, very old. And Henry Winkler plays a young man, and then it shows him, of course, just before his death, and then the ghosts come. And it's very much all about trying to build wealth in America. And the ghosts come, and he is just this horrible person, and nobody likes him. But at the end, it isn't that a child somewhere in the neighborhood says, hey, it's Christmas, and he feels better. No, he basically takes an orphan under his wing at the end and creates this family for him. And so it just takes it a little bit more. But Henry Winkler was so good in this movie, because to me, he was always just the Fonz until this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, I don't think it's even a great movie. I don't think it's barely a good movie. But I just saw it at the right time when I went, I really like that. And then when I mentioned that to Chris, everybody rolls their eyes like, I've never even heard of that movie.
I haven't.
To me, it's
I've
one
never
of my
heard of it.
favorites.
Well, and
I
that's-
think Christmas does that too. That's just one movie that I would really like. Henry Winkler, if you're listening, I thought you were great in the movie. I really, really liked it. So,
Are we ready to come back to Die Hard yet?
and then Die Hard.
And then Die Hard comes into it. And there's always that discussion.
Sorry, I got in the way of your podcast.
No. I'm just circling back because all of that I agree with. And we've talked about, yes, I think we're on the same page when it comes to just having that feeling and that miraculous reconciliation and awakening of sorts to what Christmas is all about, really.
Right, yep.
And then Die Hard comes in.
Sure.
And people argue, is it a Christmas movie? It is not. I am on the side of it is. Because to me, it's the opposite end, certainly.
Okay.
It does happen on Christmas Eve, so I am going to say it's a Christmas movie.
Right.
But there is something about it that it does make me happy. And it's not the violence or anything like that. But I really don't feel it's the holidays until I see it.
See, Die Hard. Well, at the end, does it not
John
have
McClane,
a miraculous reconciliation?
Well, you know what? It does. Between husband and wife, you're right. They reconciled.
And Hans
they've been
Gruber and the ground. Immaculate.
They've been separated for months. Bruce Willis and his wife come together, so he had the families together again.
Right.
So, okay, in that respect, it falls into, I guess, our own made-up recipe. But
somebody texted in there.
John
that
McClane.
It's got to have John McClane for their.
and I agree wholeheartedly. And you could make the argument that maybe that includes others, but yeah, Die Hard. I really don't know why, but it is. It is.
And it's been on that list forever. Is it a Christmas movie, isn't it? It's one of those funny discussions that comes up every year. And yet I just saw a list, too, of the 15 best Christmas movies. And again, that's an argument waiting to happen. But it was on there. Up there with Holiday Inn and Miracle on 42nd Street, Die Hard.
Well,
So who's going to argue with
you
it?
can't argue with it, right?
Another text came in this morning that said, for the movie to be great, it has to have triumph over adversities.
See? Die Hard,
Die Hard,
Home Alone,
Home Alone.
Elf. What were some of the other ones we were just talking about? White Christmas,
White
another
Christmas.
favorite one of mine. I know Holiday Inn, White Christmas.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Of course. How many?
Triumph over
How
adversity.
many obstacles did he have to overcome? And
All
there he
of
is,
them.
and he saves Christmas, and everything's good.
In less than an hour. All of them. So that's what's got to have. Thanks, everybody, for sharing on that. Coming up
Yes.
tomorrow, we're going to have the list of the top, ready?
Yeah, we're switching from movies to.
Top 20 Christmas songs of
Music.
all time. And you know what? Ranked.
You want to talk about opening a can of worms and discuss it. We're going to discuss this again tomorrow, I think.
So where do you suppose Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley? It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams. And the Christmas Song by Nat King Cole. All three of
see.
those are on the list. Where do you think they rank?
You know Nat King Cole is my favorite.
Poke,
so
poke,
I don't
poke.
know if I want to necessarily know
So
where
you're
it ranks
afraid
on
it
the
isn't
list.
as high as it should be.
I don't want to see it at number 20.
It's not
If
at
it's
number
in
20.
if as long as it's in the top 10.
Oh, it's well into the top 10.
Okay, well then I'll be okay.
But it's not number one. And before everybody rushes to guess what number one is, take a pause. Because maybe you don't know. Maybe you're obviously right. Or maybe it's that other one. Which one do you think is going to be
I
number
got two
one?
guesses.
Yeah. And it's probably 1 and 2.
Can I guess now? Or are you going to make
Yes,
me
you
wait
can
till tomorrow?
guess.
Okay. You're not going to tell me though.
That's correct, but you can guess. Feel free to guess. It's your podcast. You can do anything you want. Guess
You're not
away.
going to tell me, really? Okay,
That's
I'll
correct.
give you two, and if one
Okay.
of them's right, you got to say yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
I think it's either Mariah Carey or Bing Crosby.
Yes.
Okay.
It is either
Yeah.
one.
Number one.
It is either one of those two.
Number one.
Yes.
Okay.
Number one song is one of those two. And then Nat King Cole, and then Elvis,
Is Nat King
and
Cole
then
number
Andy
3?
Williams. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
You don't get to guess everything. That's on
But
tomorrow's
Mariah
podcast.
Carey or Bing Crosby, one of them is number one.
Is number one. That
Okay.
is correct.
All right.
Which is the juxtaposition now, isn't it? Because
It
they're
really
not the
is.
same songs.
That's why I went with both of them.
And tomorrow, after the 8 o'clock news, we're going to kick off the holiday portion on 95.5 Hits FM. Christmas Nights begins tomorrow night, 6 until midnight every evening. Nothing but holiday favorites on the air. A staple here in the Quinte region.
Love
But
holiday
what
nights.
song are we kicking it all off tomorrow morning after the 8 o'clock news with? Text us 613-962-0955. Correctly, if you hit it, we may call you and ask you to introduce the song on the air. And don't think you don't have that. Oh, I'm not very good at that on the radio. I've been on the radio for 35 years, and I am dreadful.
We're still working on it.
So
But I am surprised at the
me.
guests we've gotten already because we put it out there this morning. If
Yep.
you think you know what the first song is going to be tomorrow morning, text it in. Someone say "Joy to the World,"
Joy to
and
the
not
World.
that that's a bad song,
not at all.
but it's not your typical. That wouldn't be the like your list. I was surprised that it was the first one that they picked.
Do you know that song itself in any version does not appear in the top 20 songs?
Well, because I would say it's more of a hymn.
True.
It's more of a church.
And there are versions on
Carol?
the radio, but
Yes,
not
certainly.
as beloved as, for example.
Because I'll be honest, I think that's the only time we sing it is Christmas Eve.
Could be. Yeah.
Unless we were out caroling. And to hear it on the radio, yeah, unless you're on a specific station or listening to a certain album, you don't really hear it that often.
Yep. Nobody picks it up today when they do a holiday album
And
puts
release
on
it.
there.
They don't release it
Right.
as a single. Not like Kelly Clarkson.
Who will do everything? She's got loads, like Michael Bublé.
Yes, Michael Bublé, another one.
And on tomorrow's list, who do you suppose has the most current of the 20 songs? What performer do you think is the most current performer that has
Faith Hill.
landed a song in the top 20?
Faith
which
Hill.
would make the song about 20 years old? No. More recent
Oh,
than that.
it does, doesn't it? See,
Yeah.
I hate it when you do that. More recent than that.
That song came out 20 years ago, Charity
Holy
Brown.
cow. Thanks for that reminder.
Think about it, though. My guess,
gonna have to.
My guess is within 5 years. I think. I'm going to go look it up to be
Really?
sure, but I think that song is only about 5 years old. And then everything else is old.
Really?
Old, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's coming up tomorrow morning. Text us your answers, though. You might be getting a call to be on the air tomorrow. It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and across our socials. If you're an American, I hope you are enjoying your Thanksgiving. And everybody, get a good night's sleep tonight, particularly if you work retail. It is Black Friday tomorrow.
Bring it on.
Bring it on and start your day with Mark and Charity Mornings on 95.5 Hits FM. Have a great day.